Winston champion John Force. A look at the summer of smoke and flame. An encore visit with crew chief Austin Coyle at home. And a lesson in force speak. From John Force Racing in Yorba Linda, California. These stories and more on this edition of NHRA Today. John Force's Winston Championship season was no overnight sensation. For over a decade earlier, John first forced his way into funny car prominence with runners-up at the 1979 Cajuns and Summer Nationals. But over the ensuing years, Force became best known as the author of some of funny car's most spectacular incidents. And as a perennial bridesmaid. For John had 9 more final round appearances before claiming his first national event victory in Montreal in 1987. 11 victories followed, culminating in this season's Winston title. Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Evans, and this is NHRA Today. Now, if we sound a little echoey, it's because we're coming to you from the bare wall, but soon to be completed, world headquarters of John Force Racing in Yorba Linda, California. John, you have come a long ways, my friend.
Steve, it's definitely been a long ways. I just got to say, for all the people that supported me and helped me, and especially Austin Coyle that brought me along here in the last few years and taught me how to win. Wasn't the support of the people and the fans and the backers that supported this car and made it financially right, we couldn't have been here.
Tell us about some of the struggles, some of the sponsorship struggles.
Oh, going way back, it's really funny. Maybe it's just destiny in life, but if you look back, it just seemed like a money deal always popped up out of necessity.
I ran across you and your crew in Denver one time, and you were all living in a Union Oil truck stop.
It's really funny telling a story like that, but when you take your crew in, you've never seen an egg that long, have you? Well, they make an egg that long in a Union 76 truck stop. But that was funny. There was 5 of us in there trying to eat, and we were putting it on a credit card from Jolly Rancher, and that's how we made it.
Monday morning, after the Winston finals, there you are in living color, the front sports section of the LA Times, the Orange County Register, all the local papers. Was it like you were reading about somebody else?
I think that was probably one of the highlight moments of my career, because so many people came back. Even my old hometown, Bell Gardens, the principal came to see me and brought me stickers, Bell Gardens Lancers, to put on the side of my car. He was really proud of me. And if it wasn't for the media, like I say about TV, and if it wasn't for the newspapers, 90% wouldn't know you were here.
We're going to take a break, but stay with us. When we come back, we'll begin a review of John Force's incredible and fiery 1990 season.
NHRA Today is being brought to you by Firestone, makers of Firehawk Performance tires for the street, the track, and the strip. Tires that meet the test. And by Castrol GTX, the motor oil that provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown.
We're back in Yorba Linda, California with newly crowned Winston Funny Car champion John Force. John, the first half of the season was up and down. Started off at the Winter Nationals with an upset loss to Nitro rookie and eventual winner Casey Spurlock. Then another defeat at the following event, Phoenix, on a track you match race frequently on. Then you rebounded at Houston, took 4 more wins at the Winston Invitational, Cajun Springs, and LeGrand National, where you turned in a brilliant performance in that Monday morning mist.
It was very funny because we're talking Montreal. It rained all night. My crew's attitude, we were up at 6 in the morning at the racetrack, Austin and myself and the whole crew walking that track. And it's funny how I have to talk with my guys now about the things that they talk about, how you can give away information. A great driver, a legend, Don Gartlett's made the statement, Force, there's an oil down out there, drive around it. And I went back to Austin, I said, drive around it. He said, well, that can be tough, you can get into the wall. From the film footage, you can see I obviously made a right turn and drove around the oil, was unable to win the race.
The Summer Nationals in New Jersey was an absolute disaster for you.
Yeah, it all went right back. Them points just jumped up and down. I was getting 2s or whatever they give you in a card game, and the ace was getting aces. I mean, it just jumped back and forth. I'd get the lead, he'd get the lead.
In a way, though, at the Summer Nationals, you got lucky. You went out first round, but McCullough was unable to capitalize on it as he wanted to.
It's another race. You load your parts, you take your lickings, and you go home, and you hope for a win at the next one. But it was a bad weekend. But if we held the lead there, I think we did. Going to Denver, we were still in the lead.
Well, and in Denver, you got a bit of a whooping there.
I took a whooping. I beat myself at Denver. I was concentrating on Larson, who was right on my tail, and I took Larson out, second round. And I went back, you thought I'd won the world championship. I went back to the trailer, somebody gave me a sack of Oreo cookies. I've told that story. I ate them, my body quit functioning. I went out, McCullough put a car on me on the starting line. It was total driver error, a mistake that I don't eat them anymore. I hate them, in fact.
Well, one thing we have all learned about John Force, win, lose, or fire, whatever is going through his head comes right out of his mouth.
And Coyle, he's looking, don't play the game, don't play the game, go on in. And I sat on a thing, and finally I went in, and then no tree, it just sat and it sat. And I was running out of brain, I'm telling you. And, hey, you want to do that again? You want to do that? That old boy. See, I didn't want to say a while ago, is this for real? This is for real. Hey, the fans got their money's worth, huh? This is just an old bulldog fight's what it is, and we got bulldogged. A whole shot, I can't believe it. I thought I was late. I can't hardly talk, it's those braces again. You ought to ask Coyle what he thinks, because this guy, I put a load on him, and I beat him up, and I'm tired of it. Coyle, give me some love over here, huh, buddy?
You know, about the only person that John Force talks to more than me is his crew chief, Austin Coyle. So here's an encore presentation of a visit to the home of the champion tuner.
If all you know about Austin Coyle is what you've seen in the pits, then you only know part of the story. The funny car crew chief has a variety of interests outside of racing. And how about this for some trivia? Destined for fame at an early age, Austin Coyle was chosen to be one of the Gerber babies. Coyle's first connection with professional drag racing came in the mid-'60s with the legendary Chi-Town Hustler racing team. That relationship netted Coyle 2 funny car world championships in the early 1980s. Then in 1985, he joined forces with John.
He's very hyperactive and very ambitious. Has to be one of the best promoters in the sport, and mechanically knows less about the car itself than anyone I've ever worked with. Obviously, I know nothing about the promotional end of the business, and so we need each other.
Indeed, Force and Coyle have proven to be quite a successful combination with 9 national event titles thus far. But the relationship between the two extends beyond the racetrack. In fact, the ties may be a little too close for comfort sometimes.
John and his wife accompanied us on the honeymoon, just probably to make sure we didn't do anything stupid, I guess.
It's only fitting that a man who makes his living around race cars would also enjoy high-speed hobbies. In his off time, Austin Coyle flies light airplanes and rides dirt bikes just to take his mind off his work.
It's an active enough form of relaxation to where it forces you not to think about all the pressures you have.
With a slate of 20 NHRA events, that pressure makes leisure time a rare commodity. But during breaks in the racing season, Austin and his wife Lisa enjoy relaxing at their home in Southern California.
When I'm on the road with him, I probably see him less. Around here, we never leave the house. We like to stay home when we're home.
Always regarded as one of the best tuners in the business, Austin naturally owns a super hi-fi system, which he paid for with bonus money from his team's 2nd world championship.
There's about 20 grand worth of audio equipment, and then a camcorder that, you know, we take all kinds of movies with. This is some of the film from our honeymoon in Hawaii, and John and Lori went with us over there. We gave John the camera, and this is what we ended up with, but it's a pretty good picture anyway, huh?
No visit to the Coyle house would be complete without sampling some of Austin's home cooking.
This is a tricky part right here. You gotta make sure you burn them just right.
And even when barbecuing ribs, Coyle can find an analogy to drag racing.
You never quite ever get the perfect barbecued rib, just like you never get the quite perfect race car run. So, you know, you're always striving to make it just a little bit better the next time around.
Castrol presents the GTX Pipeline, the latest news from the world of drag racing.
When Austin Coyle wrenched his own funny car, the Chi-Town Hustler with Frank Hawley on board, to the Winston Championships in '82 and '83, if you heard a piston, it was considered a really expensive deal. Well, with John Force in 1990, burned up bodies became, well, the norm almost, Austin. Is it the fuel systems? Are they so complicated?
Well, it's the blowers are putting so much pressure into these engines, and the fuel volume to go with them is so much that just the slightest bit of error, you get an explosion.
This is an explosion. That block is destroyed. The whole end's blown off.
This looks like the one we hydraulicked at Brainerd, Minnesota. When the motor over-revved, it gets so much fuel volume in there that when it lights, the motor can't possibly take the pressure.
And took another body with it. How many blocks did you go through?
Oh, we put 6 blocks into the happy hunting grounds and a couple more that we were able to repair.
When you start ruining aluminum wheels with flame, you've got some problems.
Well, you know, that's all part of the game. You know, sometimes you get your parts breakage a little bit here and a little there. We haven't had much for several years, and we got it all this year.
And blowers. Oh, how many of those did you decimate? Look at the piece blown out of the side of that one.
Well, we've got about 17 blowers in stock, and we have only really ruined a couple of them beyond repair, like the one in front of us, but like our repair bill at Mooneyham's looks like the national debt.
And you know, it's truly a tribute to Austin and his guys and John Force that they won the championship with all of these things going wrong. They just wouldn't quit, and John just never got afraid. Welcome back to John Force's shop in Yorba Linda, California. John, McCullough takes the points lead in Denver, but now you head to the West Coast. Sears Point, the California Nationals, back in the good air.
It's amazing, Steve. You can race in the top 10, be any number one of the cars. The pressure's not there like trying to be number 1 or number 2 because you live with the fear of losing that lead. McCullough and I passed it back and forth. At Denver, he hurt me. Sonoma, I tried to recover. I remember the statement McCullough said for a while. He looked at me. He said, well, let you have that points lead for a while. You be sick for a while. I'm tired of it, but I'll be back.
When did the severe breakage really start with this team?
The breakage jumped around. It started early in this season. I always tell about that trail of parts we left from Phoenix to Gainesville. It started there, but it jumped around. I mean, Austin Coyle all the time was on top of it, like a tuner should. If he changed to get rid of one problem, he created a new one, a new problem somewhere else.
You headed for Seattle the very next weekend, the Jolly Rancher Seafair Nationals. Were you afraid a little bit of that car by then?
A lot of people, they watch me on TV and they think you're just fearless. Not at all. Scared to death. This is part of the job. It's like a bull ring. You got to get in and fight that bull. And I got in the car every run facing it. It popped all weekend at Seattle, but we were able to hang on and still held on to the points because McCullough fell in the final to Oswald.
Oh, but boy, the big problem set in at Brainerd, Minnesota, the Quaker State North Star Nationals. I was afraid for you. Everybody that knows you and likes you was afraid for you.
I was afraid for me, but the motivation that I found in the group of guys I call the Force Attack Team that Austin put together here with myself was unbelievable. I think that was my biggest pride, and I thought if I was too frightened to drive the car, I didn't deserve a group of guys like this.
And everybody at home rode with you and could see that fire coming into that compartment thanks to the onboard camera.
Unbelievable. The camera, I think, was one of the biggest moves in my life because with the people around me, they saw actually what it was all about. They saw the view of what the stands looked like with the people. They could see the safety safari coming after me. Let me tell you, those guys, unbelievable right there, the protection that they gave me. I give them credit for keeping me alive.
A truly amazing performance on Sunday. After the fire, the all-night thrash, you win the race, but each round you were riding a bomb.
Again, I say they want to give the driver all the credit, but if they could have seen that team led by Austin, and those guys work all night long and fix a car that was, I thought, totally disgraceful, embarrassing, and come back, I had to perform for them. I mean, that was my job. I couldn't let them down.
And then the U.S. Nationals, the next race, $50,000 in the Big Bud Shootout. Was it worth it?
I tell you what, at about 1,000 foot, I was counting that 50,000. It was clear out both sides. There was nobody in the race with me. I couldn't see them. But then, like I say, she lit up. She went from 50 to 40 to 30 to 20, down to making another loan.
But then Monday, Labor Day, Eliminations Day, there was McCullough.
The card game turned around again. We were still putting that money in the bank. And again, though, this team, understand, all night long on Austin's birthday. Never got to go to the party. Stayed all night and fixed me a race car. The next day it was on the start line, ready to race.
With all this talk about the pressure and the strain on John Force, this is a perfect time to have an encore presentation of John Force relaxing at home.
That baby dipped on me, hooked the nose, and what a ride.
Yeah, 6 o'clock, my wife, we're trying to induce labor right now. She's overdue, and I got to get home since I hugged this crew. And I knew I cut a light, and the Brain quit. Wait a minute. I saw the...
It's a far cry from the sounds and fury of the track to the serene and peaceful Yorba Linda, California setting where John Force has made a home for himself, his wife Lori, and their daughters Ashley, Brittany, and Courtney. Surprisingly, his home also serves as a repository for a burgeoning collection of antiques, purchased by virtue of a typical John Force philosophy.
I know if they're expensive and they got King Louis on them, then they got to be old, and that's the way I buy.
But it's not those antiques that make a house a home. It's the family.
The home becomes a sanctuary. It is a chance to get home and change your lifestyle for a few weeks and be with the kids. Myself, I grew up in a trailer house. 3 brothers and a sister. There was 5 of us total, and Mom and Dad. And my dad, the first time he saw my house, he said, geez, we could put our trailer in the living room. I really don't get to enjoy it much, but I know that the family has it, and that's what's important. First thing I do when I get home is I clean up what's been left. Anything that the dog's done that the kids didn't get through, or cleaning out the garage or pulling weeds, I get right into that real quick. Read my mail at midnight till 4 in the morning to go through that. And early in the morning, I'm back into the business of getting organized for the week because I only got a few days.
A lot of times I've told him, I've talked to you more on the phone when you were back east than I have the whole week you've been here, because he's still putting deals together and organizing like a 3-ring circus almost. And so he's trying to walk a fine line between his racing career and being at home with the family, but he still is a good dad when he comes home.
And then it's pizza time for the kids. We got our little places we go.
But he keeps the kids up till midnight.
We try to catch a movie if we can.
The naps are all disrupted.
We don't go to the park because we have a park.
The dinner hour is any hour.
If there's a new tape, we'll sit down and get a pizza and we'll watch it late into the night.
And so it's anything goes.
Well, we like roll over on the bed, and my sister Brittany plays with us too, and like if she gets caught in Dad's arms, because we pretend that Dad's the monster, and then if she gets in Dad's arms and gets caught, I jump on him and he falls off her, and then I save her because Brittany and me are the buddies on the team.
For a man who's at ease, rocketing down the track at 280 miles per hour, it must be nice to escape to the serenity of a normal home life.
Whoa, Max. That baby dipped on me, hooked the nose, and what a ride.
In Orange County, California, continuing our conversation with funny car champ John Force. John, after the U.S. Nationals at Indy, the season kind of rounds the far turn and heads for home. You went on to the Keystone Nationals in Maple Grove, where you were the defending champion.
It was dark. That was funny because Oswald looked down there and said, can we see? And I said, well, Oswald, with the problems I've been having, stay close to me. Austin, I'll give you plenty of light.
And you did.
We did, but we won the race, and the car had run real good. The Motorcraft Ford run 20s, and we were off pace. But I was able to help the team, and whole shot won it.
Topeka, only the second year for that Heartland Nationals race. No one all that familiar with that track.
We thought we had it cleared up again. We thought we'd put that Gremlin to sleep, and we won a few rounds, no major problems, but second or third round, I think, again, I got to take the credit. I'm driving, I'm in the cockpit. I stepped off the gas, got back after it, and she exploded in my face.
You didn't finish the season, obviously, in Pomona, California, to win some photos the way you wanted to. You wanted to really give them 4 win lights on Sunday for all your friends and your family. It didn't happen.
Well, hometown, it could have been great, but looking back, Daryl Gwynn once said, you know, he wrote a 0. He said, I never knew what he meant. I drove her down a return road, waved at the crowds, it was over. Driver error.
But you know, it wasn't over, because then you had the crew push the car out from behind the trailer where the fans could physically touch it. You had all your guys, including Austin, signing autographs. I got a little champagne on me. You were still having at it.
First time I got hurt all weekend, a champagne party. I didn't know anything about it. I don't even drink champagne. My guys just come out of nowhere. I wanted to put the car out where the fans could see it. I was down, definitely down. I knew mentally I was wrong, but, you know, you're there for the sponsors, the people, the fans especially.
Well, now that you've got the taste of a championship, you've got the #1 in your car, you want to keep it for a long, long time.
I promised my guys 2 weeks off, and I'm trying to get them back right now. I mean, I told them, there's too many things to go, too many places to go. We don't want to fall down. Coyle's got a lot of ideas, and from Castro, Jolly Rancher, all these people that are coming back with us, we got money. We got Winston money. We got money from everybody. I don't even know how to get it all in the bank. It's going to be tough. But we're going to take it, apply it to this race car, and we're going to give them some serious drag racing in 1991.
You know, John, we could spend hours, even days, talking to you. It's always enjoyable. But unfortunately, we're out of time. But be with us next week when we review the championship season of Top Fuel driver Joe Amato. For everyone here at NHRA Today, thanks for joining us on TNN.
NHRA Today has been brought to you by Castrol GTX, engineered for today's smaller cars, and by Firestone, makers of Firehawk performance tires for the street, the track, and the strip, tires that meet the test. Promotional consideration provided for and a fee paid by this special offer from Diamond P.
I just love the holiday season when a few thousand of my closest friends and family drop by to watch me decorate the traditional Evans Christmas tree. And I can't wait till Christmas morning to see the light in their eyes and hear the lilt in their lap when they open their presents and get exactly what they all want. Diamond P Sports Video, Drag Racing 1990. Don Perdome finds frustration and occasionally fear. 5 drivers in 4 makes stage the closest pro stock battle in history. Gary Ormsby opens the decade of the 90s with a 480. John Force fights at McCullough and fire, fire, fire. Drag Racing 90, a year of passion, pressure, and performance. To get your copy, call 1-800-767-2600 or send $24.95 plus $3.50 shipping and handling to the address on your screen. Visa and MasterCard accepted, no CODs. Call 1-800-767-2600 now.
NHRA Today has been a presentation of Diamond P Sports.